When you're looking to build a final base in Minecraft for your world, you want somewhere that's got lots of resources around so you can easily access everything to be able to grow fast. But you also need lots of space. So you need to find somewhere that's going to give you all of these things. Once you've found that, you need to get yourself a little open area to build yourself your first decent house. I'm going to show you how to make that house right now. Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance. Today, I'm in a really nice area. Look, I've got sand and stuff over there. I've got open plains. I've got plenty of wood. I've got a ravine behind me, which is absolutely superb. So I have access to everything I could possibly need to make my final base, where I'm going to actually grow and build my final Minecraft thing. And first off, I need to build somewhere to live. So I've got this really gorgeous area behind me. It's big enough for a house, not too big, but not a really, really startery type house. And then from there, everything else can be built around it. This tutorial is all about building that house. It's going to be pretty, but it's going to be functional as well. And I hope you enjoy building it with me. We're going to do it kind of ish, block by block with gaps. So do pause the video if you need to catch up. Let's get on with it. It's going to be good. First off, build yourself your shape on the floor. It's always good to plan out what you're going to do. Now you notice on the bottom right hand corner we have got a 9 by 9 square with the corners marked out, and then off on the sides these two squares, the bottom and the top there, are 7 by 7 just to give a bit of a different shape. And then right at the front here we have put in just a little bit of extra outage on that bottom 9 by 9 square just to give a front porch, because that's going to be where the front door is. So let's get on with the build. We're going to make this a single story house, so we're not going to have any second floors, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to have a little bit of room. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get on these corners of the 9 by 9 square. So you can see that's that corner, that corner, that corner, and that corner. And we're going to put these 7 high. So this is going to end up being a 9 by 9 cube. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the reason we're doing it so high is simply because if we've only got a single story house, we want to be able to have plenty of room inside for everything. So we can have some shelving, we can have some higher level storage, all that kind of thing. Because we've not got a second floor, we need to have plenty of space. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then finally this one over here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And as we always do, we need to finish off this box by coming with some cross beams across the front here like this. And then on the other sides, we're going to make them slightly lower. So that's going to give a more interesting split level to the building. There's nothing worse than a really boxy house that looks like it's just been made out of a cube, because you don't want a cube house unless it's a Rubik's Cube house, which I did a little while ago. You can go and watch that if you want to. Right, so here on this side, we've got kind of a secondary area. And on this one, we're going to come up 5 high. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see the differential of the height here is, I mean, it's not loads, it's only a couple, but it is enough to give a little bit of difference in what we're doing. We're also going to come up here. This is going to be 5 also. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then same here. 1, not there, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then build in the cross beams across. So you can see what we've got here is quite an interesting shape that we're going to convert into some nice kind of styling for the house itself by connecting up roofs and other such things. This area is going to be outside, but this area around the back here is inside. Now on this one, we are only going to be going 4 high. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then here 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're still going to connect it up across. That is our front porch. We're going to do 4 high on the inside, like that. Again, cross beam across. I've only gone 3 on that one, I can't count. And so much for Avo counts. And then we've got that area. So that builds our front porch area. Here, on these ones, we're going to come the same height as here. So that's 5 high. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There. And again, that connects up to that side. So that can come across like that. That can come across like that. And these two can connect up like that. So we're building effectively a scaffold around our house, which will guide us in our next step. So you can see that's actually quite a nice little area. This is the point at which you can decide, do I want to put a little bit extra on the side, or do I want to make that a complete wall? Now for me here, I'm going to be honest, I think this could do with a little bit more on the side. So I'm going to build up another 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's going to come all the way across the side here. And then I'm going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to come up 5 here. Always build in odd numbers. That way you've got a much better shape. It works out far more symmetrical and it works really quite well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 there. And come out across like that. This comes out and across like that. And then finally on this side, this comes out and across like that. So what we've built basically is a series of squares and cubes. And this works in any way you want. You just keep building on the squares and the cubes as much as you want to give yourself the final shape. And once you've got the final shape, you can start to build the rest of the building, and that's what we're going to do next. Now, different people do different things when they're doing their building the next stage. Some people like to build in the walls, other people like to do other things. I personally like to get the roof on. And now I know that sounds like a little bit strange, doing the top before you do the bottom, but it does make sense, I promise you. So always come out 1 from the edge. It's really, really important that you come out 1 from the edge. And I like to edge mine at the gable ends using a different block. So cobble is often the best one. So then you need to decide what kind of roof are you going to do. Are you going to do a standard gable, just like a triangle, or are you going to do something a little more, I don't know, stylish or interesting? And it's really, really up to you, frankly. So you need to do whatever it is you want. For me, on this one, I'm going to make it just ever so slightly different. So you can see I've got step, upside down step. Then I'm going to get myself a block there and there. Actually, that could have been another upside down step if I'd have wished, because I am going to turn it into an upside down step now. And that block gives us a little bit of extra height. I'm then going to put a step on there and a step on there, then an upside down step again, and an upside down step again, and then a block and a block. And then we're just going to repeat that process until we get to the apex. So there and there. Oops, sorry, I've done it wrong. Beg your pardon. So there and there, then upside down, block, block, and then we've got to the apex, so we can then build stair there and a stair there. We're going to leave that apex open for now. So you can see what we've got is kind of a slightly tapered roof, and then we do exactly the same on the other side. So come out from the edge, come out 1. The right way round is always a good idea. There we go. So we're going to go upside down step, right way round step, same on this end, upside down step, right way round step, then get our block, block there, then right way round step there and there, upside down step there and there, block there and there, get the step, upside down step there and there. I did the same wrong thing again, didn't I? That's amazing. So then we get that there and that there, upside down step there, upside down step there. That's not upside down step there. Then get block there, block there. You can see we've just got to the gable end again, right at the pinnacle. I put that like that and that like that. So again, at the same way, we've got exactly the same shape on the top. Often, with your tallest roof, it is quite nice to make it a very slightly different shape. It does give you a little bit more room in the roof, it's true, but it's more for what it looks like outside than inside. And then you can start to look at the other bits. So for example here, this is going to be just a standard gable. You don't want this to be too fancy because it's only teeny tiny. And if it's only little, it will look a little bit odd if you make it, I don't know, any kind of different shape. So we're just going to go up and create a standard upside down triangle, I guess. So we get that there, that like that. And just upside down that step, and there, and there, and there. And again, you've got a single gap in the middle that we're going to do something with in a moment. And what you just need to do is make the same decisions as to what kind of roof you're going to have on each side. And once you've done that, you can move on to the next bit. So I'll be back when I've done some roofing. Once you've finished those gable ends, you get a fairly good idea of how that house is going to start to look when you finished it. Now you need to fill in the rest of the roof. That will definitely help you. But you need to do it the highest roof first. And that's because the lower roofs tend to connect up into the higher roof. So just literally where you've got the stone, fill in across with some wood. I like to use spruce wood for a roof. It just makes for a nicer looking roof, and also it contrasts nicely with the wooden beams that you've got and the walls that we're going to be using. Now then we need to notice we've stepped it up here. We've got a block, we've not got a step, so we need to move to using a block. Also makes it a lot easier to fill the roof in, coming all the way along. That should connect with a block on the other side if we've done it right. Yes, we have. Then change it to a step, coming all the way along and fill that in. And then next we've got another block, so fill that with a block all the way across like that, and carry on until you've done it all. And then you can see that is how that roof is going to look. Now we're going to detail it a bit more than this, but at least you've got a fairly good idea. Now you just have to do the same with the other roofs. Now this roof alongside here, that's going to be running alongside that roof, so that's fairly simple. And then on this side here, this gable runs in to this roof. Now what that means is wherever it meets, it is going to basically create like a corner stairwell like this. So if I do it on this top row here, you can see what I'm talking about. It's going to come along, 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 and there it's going to meet this block. Get rid of that block and put in a corner stairwell like, look, if I can get in like that, you can see it makes a nice join, and do exactly the same on the other side. And once you've finished that, you'll have a really nice looking roof. Let's get over to that right now. So this is what your roof will look like if you followed it exactly block for block, or something similar to this if you've done it in your own style. And obviously your own style is a really good way to do things. Then what we need to do is we need to fiddle around with these gable ends. These gaps at the top, we've deliberately left them open. So what we get is on the edges, get yourself a block. So a block of cobble, and then a step, and put it upside down on the end, so you can see we get a bit of an overlap like that. Then come to the other end as well, get yourself the block in there and the step coming out like that, so you can see it looks very much like this. And then inside here we want to get the block of wood and come along and edge a block of wood all the way along like this. Now at this point you've got a choice. You could ridge this roof with a stone slab if you wanted to give it a little bit of height, or alternatively you can ridge it with a wooden slab. For me at the minute, I'm going to ridge it just with a wooden slab and see what it looks like. This is a little bit freehand, this build, so we can adjust it and adapt it and change it as we want. So you can see there we've got a ridge that works quite well with wood, I think. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring in a cobblestone slab as well. So let's get that like that, and we're going to put a cobblestone slab just on the ends here, because I think it makes a bit of a difference. Then we get the gable end sticking out like that. Yes, I definitely prefer the way that looks. And then we're going to do exactly the same on the other ends as well. So come in here, get yourself your cobblestone block, whack it on there, get yourself your upside down step, stick it on there, get your spruce wood blocks, bring them all the way along. You'll notice here we've got a step, remove that, stick in a spruce wood block, get your spruce wood slab, join it up there. You'll see it joins up quite nicely with the roof coming off the other side. Get it all the way to the edge, and then get yourself your slab there and stick it like that. And do the same on all of the other roofs as well, and then we'll start doing the body. We are ready for these walls, and what we're going to do is basically do a single row between these struts. Now I know you're saying, Avo, that's going to look a little bit boxy, and to start with you're not wrong, it will look a little bit boxy, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to make it not boxy as a result of some added decoration. We're also going to be putting blocks in and then removing them, so be aware that the blocks you're putting in, you may not be keeping them there the whole time. So what I want to do is I want to make it look a little bit interesting, so I'm going to randomly be putting in cobble in various places. Just to, don't do it in a symmetrical way, do it in a way that looks a little bit random, and that way what you're going to find is it's going to look a little bit more natural. So just basically come all the way around the outside and just put these bits of cobble in where it looks a little bit more random. And once you've done the cobble, you can then do, I'm going to use stone brick. So like this, I'm going to put stone brick all the way around. Remember I said we are going to be removing some of this as well, because we're going to be kind of doing it a little bit by eye. We also want to be putting in doors. And obviously if there's a block in the way, you're not going to want the door there as well. So we're going to kind of make it up a little bit as we go along, because these things, it's really down to what you think you like, what you think looks good, and what you think is going to be best for your build. So I'm just going to, don't want that there, I'm just going to put these bits and pieces here. I'm going to put another bit of cobble on that side. I'm leaving this bit open because that's going to be the front. We know that's going to be the front. And I'm going to put that there, perhaps that there. I'm going to put a random bit there, and you can see what I've done. Mostly we're talking about having, oh no, come inside, what Wally? Mostly we are talking about having stone brick with a little bit of cobble every now and again. So you can see, if you look at that from the outside, it just makes for a little bit of nicer texture rather than it being stone brick all the way around. And the fact that it's slightly random means that you've got, I don't know, it just makes it look more natural. Then you want to be deciding, where are you going to put your windows? Now with this you need to think, what am I going to have on the inside? Some places on the inside you're going to want walls so as you can put storage, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this section here relatively unwindowed, because what that means is that the rest of it, we can get plenty of light in there and we can put doors and stuff like that in there. But this bit can be where we're going to put our enchanting room. And the enchanting room needs bookcases, and as a result, if you put the bookcase up against the window, it just looks a little bit daft. So what you can do here is, again, just build the wall up a little bit further in exactly the same way, make it a little bit more random so as it looks, you know, quite nice, and put a bit of cobble in there and kind of make it up as you go along. And it will look really quite nice by the time you've finished it. We can put a bit of cobble in there like that, and get some more brick here, there and there. And I'm just going to put brick all the way across. So that looks nice and random. Okay, road up there, but I quite like the way that looks. You might want to maybe change that and put a bit of cobble in there, but you don't want it too symmetrical. So that's quite a nice looking wall there. So we're also going to be making this bit a little bit wall-like as well. So let's get that in there. Let's put a little bit of cobble in there. We put some bits in there, a bit of cobble in there. This can be an entire row of brick, then cobble in there. Let's leave that open for now, because maybe we can put a window at this end. This becomes a brick, and cobble. There we go. So we've got a 2-high window there that we can fill up with glass in a moment. If we come around this side, and we do exactly the same on this side, just make it a little bit random. Get brick, make that cobble, brick, make that cobble there, and then that brick, come on, brick, and then maybe cobble there, and then step back. What does it look like it needs now? For me, that is definitely brick and brick. And then we've got a 2-high window there, but it also gives us space inside to be able to build the enchanting. There, we're going to have a window. We're going to make it a 2-high window, and I'm going to put brick at the top. There, we're going to have a 1-high window. There, we're going to have a 1-high window. We're going to come around this side, so we're going to come and do that front in a minute. 1-high window there. Let's get a bit of cobble in there. And then we've got the rest of it, so maybe put a bit of cobble in there as well. So we've got a 2-high window on that side. And then just carry on in the way that feels right. Get yourself some windows in the right places. A light inside is really, really important. And then we're going to fiddle around with it to make it look just a little bit nicer. And I'll come back to you when I've done that. So you can see now we've got all of these walls done. The cobble is randomly placed in amongst that brick, so it makes for just a slightly more interesting pattern. Yes, I know we've not done anything in those roof gables. We will come to those, but what we've got to do next is the inside. So we are going to venture inside, because the inside will then help us form the outside. Before we actually go inside, we're going to do something in this doorway. We just need to put a little bit of cobble down in that doorway, and then we're going to come around this side as well, and we're going to put a little bit of cobble down in that doorway too. It just means that you've got continuity with the door and the wall and the door frame. So when you come in, the door is going to be sat on there and you'll be able to see the block underneath it, and you don't want it to be grass, and really you don't want it to be the inside floor. So you want it to be something that continues with the wall. So we go in with the cobble, and then you get yourself, I'm going to use terracotta. Personally for me, I'm going to use brown terracotta because it looks a little bit wood-like, and we are clearly, we're doing a rustic-y type build, so we want something that looks a little bit woody on the inside. So I'm just going to get this done. And there you have the entire interior floor is all sorted out. But it looks a little bit empty. And we've also got all these holes up here that we need to start sorting out. So let's have a look. We've got this really, really big gable end here. Now, we don't want to fill it in entirely with blocks because it will look a little bit, well, it just look a little bit dull. So we want to have a bit of an ingress. So we don't want to build blocks on this row here. We want to come one row in. So this is the row we want. And you need to decide, what is it we're going to put in here? We want something that's going to contrast. We don't want more stone because you wouldn't put stone lining your roof really. So it really ought to be wood. And because we want something to contrast with this spruce and this cobble and this wood here, I'm going to go for oak planks. And we're just, for start off with, we're going to fill in the oak planks. And let's just get in there. We're just going to fill it in completely with oak planks, but we're not going to leave it filled in with oak planks. We are going to have a little bit of a play with it, and you'll see what we're going to do in a minute, because you can see if we have just oak planks on their own, they do look just a little bit boxy. Can you see what I mean? But also the fact that it's got an ingress looks quite nice. And when we come around the other side, we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to come in, and notice we do have something here that we're going to do something with in a minute, and do exactly the same. Come in one, all the way across, and then fill it up all the way to the top. And then we're going to just do a little bit of detailing on it, just to make it look a little bit less boxy when we come back to it in a minute. But at least now we've got it set and ready. I really like the way that kind of has an indent. It gives it a little bit more texture. And similarly in here, we want to do something very similar. So come inside, come along again, one row in, make it exactly the same so you've got matching, and that looks quite nice. And then on this side here, you should find you've got a little small one. We're going to do exactly the same again. One, two, whoop, not there. All the way along, just on the inside, like that. So that actually looks quite attractive. We've got one on this end as well. And we do also have this long kind of opening-y bit there, which we are going to fill in again with this same wood. So it doesn't matter because we're going to have continuity through this same wood. Oh, hang on, I've got to get right in there. There and there. There and there. And you see we've got an empty bit of wood there. So we're just going to get a log and we're going to stick a log in there just to fill it up because we don't want any gaps. We're going to leave that open in the back just for the moment, but we are going to come inside here to this opening because we're just going to fill that up exactly the same way with wood so as it's got an indent. So if we now come on the outside, you'll see it looks indented exactly the same way as all the others. So we'll come back to this one in just a moment. We're not quite ready to do that yet. So then we need to do just a little bit of detailing, and you've got some choices with the detail as well. You could do some glass, you could do other things. I'm going to try and see what this looks like here. We're going to try some spruce fence, not oak fence because it'd be similar colour to the background. I'm going to try some spruce fence and just see what it looks like on that bottom row, just to give it a little bit more texture. Same on this one, just on the bottom row. We're going to see what it looks like, and then we'll fiddle with it once we're done. The whole point of building these houses is to play with it, to see what it comes out like when you put something in. So this one as well, and then up the other end of this as well, just the bottom row. So you've got nice continuity with the wood. It gives a little bit more texture in there, but it also maintains the wood effect in the back so you don't lose it, because that would be a bit daft putting some blocks in front of it. So there we go. So we've got that looking like that, and then the last ones, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and that actually I think looks quite nice. We haven't finished just for reckon, we haven't finished with these big gable ends as yet. We're going to do something more, but we'll do that in a little while. Now we've come out the back of the house now, and as I said to you, this house is for function. It is not just aesthetic, this is actually a functional house, so we want it to be able to provide us everything that we need. So what we're going to do, underneath the middle of this window, the block underneath it, we're going to remove that, we're going to remove that, then we're going to get a bucket of water, pop it in there, and then get some dirt and fill in this block. That water is still there. Then we're going to come along, and underneath this window we're going to do exactly the same. Bucket of water and then dirt block there. So that water is still there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get ourselves a hoe, and this hoe is going to allow us to create some fields, and these fields here will be irrigated really rather nicely by the water that is sat in there. You can see it's just ever so little bit lower, and we're already getting irrigation from that water, and those two water sources there will be enough to be able to supply this entire field with water for crops. Now I've got a problem with this because I can see that little bit of wool that we used there, so I'm going to put that there, and that's going to make that woody, because I'd much rather it be woody. And once we've done this, we're actually going to put some seeds in. So let's put the seeds in, and we're going to seed up the entire row all the way along to the end, and this is going to give us quite a lot of wheat. Actually, you'd be surprised how much wheat you can generate over the course of a few Minecraft days with just that single strip. But I'm not satisfied with having just a single strip, so what we're going to do is we're going to come along here, and in the same spot where we put the water, we're going to come along the off this centre path. We're going to go one, which is the centre path, then that one, dig a hole, and then we're going to come along here, one centre path, then that one, and dig a hole. That hole, unsurprisingly, gets some water in it, except I missed because I'm a fool. So then we're going to put some water in the hole this time. Well done, Avomance. You just about managed to pull it back there, didn't you? Nobody noticed. All is fine. Then we're going to get a slab. And I'm going to use these spruce wood slabs simply because they look quite nice. And we're going to put a slab there. Whoops, oh my goodness, I'm knocking stuff out left, right and centre here, and I'm getting too eager. I'm going to put that back in there. So I'm going to put a slab across the back of that, then I'm going to come up there, put another slab across the back of that, right there. So you can still see the water. You don't have to see the water, I just quite like it when you can see the water. And on top of that, we're going to put a torch. So put torch there, like that. It sits directly on top of it because that slab is sitting at the top half of the block rather than the bottom half. So it sits on top of it and gives plenty of light. We're going to add some more light there. That will give more light to the outside here as well. And then we're going to get our hoe again, and we're going to hoe all the way around here, right to the same level that we did this one, and then all the way along here. And you'll notice again I can see that orange and I don't like it, so I'm just going to get rid of that by sticking that in there. And there we go, we've got rid of that orange, so we can't see that anymore. And then we're just going to seed this bit up again as well. So let's get that done, and I'll be back when this is complete. So we've done it there, and we've put a nice gravel path down the middle, just a straight line, and then fencing all the way around it. Not too fancy, but very, very functional. And then on the outside here, we're going to build, because this is like a, well, frankly, a boring looking wall. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the bottom of this row here, and we're going to stick in there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would put one there, but we can't. And then we're going to come out, and we're going to make like a lean-to off the edge of this wall, and we're going to do something underneath it. So let's just get this all the way along. How far have we come out? We need to come out another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then we're going to get again some spruce wood fencing. We're going to stick this all the way down, and that is going to act as a support, because there is nothing worse in Minecraft than stuff that doesn't make the laws of physics make sense. I hate it, very, very much. So we've got a bit of a lean-to there. But what are we going to do in the lean-to? I reckon we need to make it, again, a little bit functional. So we're going to stick that there, and then we're going to get some external storage. So let's get a double chest there, so we can kind of work and store stuff on the outside of our building. And then we're also going to get some furnaces, and we're going to put a row of furnaces up the middle like that. So we've got a little bit of function. You know what? I'm also going to put that there and that there. So we've got lots of room. And then I'm also going to get, where's my fence? There it is. No, I don't want that fence, I want the other fence because that's what we were using. There we go. And we're going to continue our fencing all the way along there. So that's joined up quite nicely. We're going to continue it all the way along here as well. And then here, we're going to leave it open. Just open so as we can walk in and out as we wish. Because on this bit here, we are going to make ourselves a little pier. I thought it'd be fun if we make ourselves kind of little jetty type effort thing here. Because, you know, we've got like a beach, we've got some water. People that live in this sort of area are going to likely have a jetty. So let's get ourselves a plank of wood there. We're going to come along this side, get a plank of wood there. So this is going to be the width of our jetty, and we're going to get our slabs there first on the lower level, and then we're going to come up one. So just get that there, and then we're going to come up one like that. And then we're just going to keep this jetty coming out up on this level just for a little bit, not too far. There we go. And then on here we're going to get more logs, and they're going to stay on the same level of those. And I reckon actually we want to go up one like that on all sides, and that makes for quite a nice little effect. Then if we get our oak fence and come along the outside of that like that, and then on this side as well, do it there and there. I don't mind that that's not joining up. I don't know, you might mind it. I personally do not mind it. And then here we can kind of just bring ourselves down onto the water, because if we wanted to have a boat, that is where the boat would go. So we've got just a nice little jetty there that comes out onto the water. Well, maybe we'll do something even more with that in just a minute, and we can come out very easily into the outside of our house. So the house, I think, so far is starting to come together. It's starting to look quite nice, but we still got a little bit of work to do. For example, we need to do something inside here, and I reckon we do that now. So in we go. Look at it from the inside, you can see it's quite open, but what's really important here is that we've got continuity with this wood. It's all about continuity here. So let's get this wood, and we're going to come, first off we're going to fill in this row here. Oh, I've got the wrong thing. This row here with the wood in exactly the same way as we did before. We also need that to be filled in there. So let's just get that filled in there so that's complete. That wood there. Then we're going to come along with that wood like that. It's got to come down one more. So it's going to come across with that wood like that. Now it's starting to block the light off. It's getting a little bit dark, but that's all right. And we're going to come across with this wood here like that. So we've got pretty much continuity across the whole of the inside of the building, because we want to have just an inward slope with this wood, so as it goes all the way around the edge. I'm going to do it on this side as well like that. That's great. So on this side we should be able to see it's the same in there and in there, and then in there, and we just need to do it again. Let's just row that in like that, and one more row in like that. So every roof has got the same kind of beamage that every other room has got, and that looks quite nice. Now we need to light it up, so I'm going to use some glowstone, and we're going to get some glowstone. You don't have to use glowstone obviously, but I'm going to use some glowstone because I think it works quite well. I'm going to strip a glowstone all the way along the middle here to light up that bit. I'm going to put a strip of glowstone up in the top here. I need to put a strip there just so I can see where I'm going. Strip of glowstone all the way along there like that, and get rid of that one. And then in this compartment here we need a strip of glowstone like the first one that just goes along the middle like that. So that gives us a fair amount of light. Now we need to test the light just to check that we're not below 7 anywhere. So here, light is 9. We're just going to walk around. So we've got 7 there. So 8, 7. We've got a bit of 7-age, so we do need to put a little bit more light in. It's not going below 7 anywhere at the moment. So you can see the light level. It's got 7s, 8s, 9s and 10s and 11s. So we do need to work on it because they will spawn in 7 and under light, all these nasties, and we don't want that. So we're going to have to put a little bit of extra light in some of these corners. But that is a decent start. Now I want a door. I'm going to use an oak door. And we're going to stick an oak door on from the inside on that front bit and again on the back bit. So that is kind of the trimming done, I guess you could say. And we're going to come outside because the front is not yet done. Look, we've got a lot of detailing that we need to do. I can turn F3 off now. Got a lot of detailing that we need to do on this house because it is not nearly ready. So let's get on with some detail. When it comes to detailing, less is actually more. Never is it been truly said. But what we want to do is we want to try and stop this looking quite so boxy. So these edges are very sharp. We've got sharp squares. We don't want sharp squares, and you can achieve losing these sharp squares just by putting on some feet like this on all of the wooden beams. We're just going to put some feet, so all the way around. You can choose whether or not you want to put it on here or not. Feet like that. You can still get out. It's not great access. We might want to add something to that a little bit later. So again, here, feet there, and every single wooden beam, we want to stick a feet coming out in 2 directions like that, or 1 direction if it's just that one. And this gives more dimension to the entire build. Now we've got this here. I'm going to remove it and put that there because actually in reality I prefer the foot to the fence. Let's come around here. We're going to ignore these ones here because they're all connected up already, and that brings us back to the other side. Now we've got a hole there, and what we're going to do is we're going to stick a block of dirt in there. We've got a hole here. We're going to stick a block of dirt in there, and then we're going to stick a flower on top. And when you put a flower on top, that means when you look out of that window, you've got the nice view of a flower. So already you can see that the front of that detail there is starting to look just a little bit nicer. We're going to do a little bit more on these other sides in just a moment. But here on this area here, we're going to create a window box. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3. And yeah, I agree, this isn't functional, but it is aesthetic. So let's get this window box on here like this, that down like that, that down like that, and again let's just use the same flowers, stick it in the window box like that. We can do another little window box on here using exactly the same techniques. Wooden trapdoor on 3 sides of the dirt like that, get the flower, stick the flower on like that, and then 1 more window box here just because it adds a nice kind of pull out. It gives a kind of a depth to the side of the building, which is really important. If you've not got any depth on your building, it just looks really, really blocky. And then put again 1, 2 and 3. So we're starting to get a little bit more detail. Now you could, if you wanted to, pretty much leave it there because there's enough detail there to keep anybody fairly happy. However, you might want to add a little bit more. So for example, these windows, maybe these windows need just a little something else. So again, get your wooden trapdoor, stick a trapdoor next to the sides of that window like that. Makes for a really nice shuttery effect. Come on this side, we're going to put some trapdoors there and there, trapdoors there, and that gives another shuttery effect there as well. We do exactly the same on all of these windows. Trapdoor there, trapdoor there. If you want, you can put the trapdoor at the bottom and flip it up. Doesn't make any difference whatsoever. The end effect is exactly the same. And then that there, and that there, and that there, and that there. And then the cottage has really started to come through. All that's left really is a little bit of extra detail on the front and sort out this front area because this front area looks really, really bland. So let's get on with that. So we've added just a gravel path randomly coming out of that front door with some random fencing. If you made the fences all link up, they get just, I don't know, it just looks a little bit too stern. It looks a little bit too straight and regimented. I prefer having random fencing like that. Also means you can sneak through the gaps if you want to, which is always quite handy. But I said we were going to do something with this front bit here. And I'm thinking that we should give this place a little bit of light. So we're going to get a fence in there, then 1 more and then we're going to put a block of glowstone on the bottom of that, and we're going to get our wooden trapdoor. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then 1 on the bottom like that. So that makes for a nice hanging lighty thing. We're going to put another one on the other side, exactly the same. So come down from the cobble, 1, 2, 3, and get a bit of glowstone, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and then 1 on the bottom, and then you've got light on both sides, which actually makes for quite a nice effect dangling down there. It gives it another little bit of, almost like a bit of movement, a bit of character, which is always really, really good. And really, that sort of finishes off the outside, maybe apart from a little bit of smooching, which I'll do right at the very end. What we need to do is come inside, because we've not done anything on the inside. Now, normally, I don't do insides. Insides are not my favourite thing. And the reason insides are not my favourite thing is because people like what they like. People don't want me to tell them what they've got to do. They want to be able to decide what they want to do themselves. And I think that's very fair. But I'm just going to put a few ideas into this just to make it a little bit more functional. So we're going to use our enchanting area here. And we're going to get, first off, we're going to stick in some bookshelves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 across the back there. That's coming out 2. So that's quite nice. Then we're going to come up a row along the back like this, not there, and then just randomly, just so as it looks quite nice, like that. So that's kind of a enchanting area. We're going to put our enchanting table right in the middle there, and you'll see instantly we will start to get letters and stuffs start to come in. Then we're going to get ourselves a, there we go, we're going to get ourselves a chest. Now this chest is going to be our lapis chest, because we're going to need some storage for the lapis that we use for this crafting table. And also, we're just going to make it look a little bit more mysterious by sticking some glowstone in 3 separate places, just to give it a little bit more light and a little bit more interest level. And I quite like the way that looks. I don't think you really need to do very much more than that, but if you wanted to, you could. It's entirely up to you. And then we've got the rest of it. You need to decide, what area am I going to use? What am I going to do? Where am I going to put what? And given that this is kind of the bit that's going outside into the garden, you might want this to be kind of a cooking area. So mostly kitchens go onto the garden. So we're going to put our furnaces in a row right the way across there like that. And obviously you're going to want a little bit of storage with your furnaces. So we'll stick a chest there like that as well. So that gives you, I don't know, a little bit of extra storage space there. We do want plenty of storage though, and we perhaps want to make the storage area here. So let's get 1, 2, 3, and even 4. We've got there, that's great, and we're going to do it here again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because you've got a gap over the top, you will be able to open that top one there without any problems whatsoever. We also want to be able to fix stuff. So where's my anvil? Let's get my anvil. I'm going to put my anvil down here. I love the sound this anvil makes when you drop it. Doink! Absolutely superb. And what about a little bit of potion making? We want to do potions, right? So why don't we do potions just here? So I'm going to get a potion stand. I don't even think I've got one yet. No, I haven't. So let's look for potion stand. So brewing stand, sorry, isn't it? Brew. There we go. So let's get that in there. We're going to get a brewing stand there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dig out 1, 2, 3. And we're going to get our bucket of water again. And we're going to get 1 bucket of water there, 1 bucket of water there, and that gives us a complete permanent water source, infinite water source in that middle bit. But we don't want to lose that middle bit, because if we dig out one of the edge ones, that is going to lose our middle bit for us. So if we get a spruce wood slab, which is very similar colour and looks quite nice, we can just only access that middle bit now, which I quite like the idea of. So we've got storage for our potions, we've got a potion brewing stand, we've got the water that we need for the brewing stand. That's everything we need to be able to make plenty of potions, all the ingredients going in there and everything. That's brilliant. So what else can we use? Let's have a look. What have we got? So we've got a crafting table that we've not used yet. So where are we going to craft? We've got to decide, where are we going to make stuff? Well, given that this seems to be very crafty right here, why don't we make stuff right in the middle? So if we put that in there, I'm going to get a crafting table right in the middle of there. That's going to allow us to make anything we would like, surrounded by all the storage, and we can fill up loads more storage in this area as well. So we're in our kitchen now. Look, we've added just a little bit of light to make sure we've got plenty of light up here. We've got the storage that we put in there before. If we come around, I put a little bit of carpet, again a little bit more lighting just to make it more effective, some more storage. We've got some armour and some item frames that we've put tools in. We've got a bed, obviously. We've got elevated storage that you can just about reach, which is great. Then we've put an ender chest in here because obviously you need an ender chest. And then we're going to come outside because we've done just a little bit more extra work on the outside. We've created this path, as you know. We've built up this area a little bit with a little bit more, I don't know, nice friendly looking grass with a little bit of sugar cane and a boat with some little jutty up bits on the jetty there, otherwise the squids come along and smack your boat about. And then on this side we grew a tree. It got bigger than I thought it would, but you know what, I think it works. It's quite nice. And from that tree we hung a swing with a little seat outside, a little bit more flowers and stuff, and a little bit more sugarcane. And that is pretty much it. I think that you could probably add to that if you wanted to. I'm going to leave that as it is right now because I think that has worked out rather nice. Let me know what you think of this particular house in the comments section below. It'd be great to know what you think we could add, what your ideas. I love to hear your design ideas. They're always really, really good. And also, if you've enjoyed the video, please do remember to hit that like button. It'll be great to know that you've enjoyed it, and then I know to make some more. And also, if you haven't done it already, make sure you hit that sub button. It'll be amazing to see you in my sub club. I look forward to seeing you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.